Greetings. Today we have a review of NAIM 3. We will examine how it works in detail and also learn how to configure it. Let's start with the function. If it is enabled, everything works. If not, then there is nothing to work on. Accordingly, there will be no sensitivity to interference. It's easier to understand here. For example, right now, the sensitivity is optimally set. Now she has grown to be too tall. And here it's too low. You need to adjust it depending on the sensitivity in the target game. Here we just need to choose which part of the enemy the aim will target, specifically head for the head, body on the body, or is the author hinting at the nearest body part? Alignment by X and Y. Here we can disable alignment along a specific axis. If we disable alignment along the X-axis, it will occur only vertically. We can move the aim left and right freely. If by Y, then vice versa, aiming will happen horizontally and we can move the aim up and down accordingly, calmly. You could say that this is an addition to sensitivity. This setting is necessary so that if an enemy is moving at a distance, your aim doesn't lag behind and stays on them, holding the cue to lay. This parameter allows the aim to be more human-like. Here you can adjust the delay between the moment you kill your opponent and move the crosshair to the next enemy. So here we have 4 sliders at once, with the top one being the delay. Meanwhile, as you press the bind and start working with RCS, your cursor or aim doesn't immediately start pulling down. Crazy dose rate refers to the speed of acceleration and deceleration control, allowing you to perfectly adjust the recoil control for a specific weapon in a specific game. The direct strength of recoil control is important because, as mentioned, in different games and with different weapons, recoil can vary. It needs to be adjusted so that the aim is not pulled down too much while still fully controlling the recoil with assistance. This is also a fine-tuning for the aim itself. It allows it to work only when the selected binds are pressed. You can choose 2, and slightly above there is a slider for shares. This is, once again, a delay. However, now it refers to how long the aim assist will function after you release the AUTOSHOT bind. As the name suggests, AUTOSHOT means automatic firing, so when your crosshair is on an enemy, it automatically starts shooting at them. You can adjust the speed, and technically this affects the delay between shots, meaning if you set it to the maximum, it means it will shoot continuously, but increasing this parameter increases the interval between shots. That is, he will shoot at the start point. Once again, there is a delay implemented so that it doesn't start shooting too early or to avoid false shots caused by false detections. And a bit lower, you can choose a separate bandage. For auto shooting to work, it could operate independently of targeting. These chances are another parameter that allows you to fine-tune auto shot, specifically so that it doesn't shoot while you're walking or running in the game, since weapon spread in such moments is quite significant, and it's very unlikely that you'll hit anyone. Leaker. This is a rather interesting parameter, and its setup is quite complex, so we've released a separate video about it on our Telegram channel. You can access it via the link in the description or the folder on the screen. To briefly describe this function, you remove the activation button. No, it's essentially the same as aim assist. When you press this button, the crosshair will instantly lock onto your opponent, making it easier to target them quickly. And if auto shooting is set to the same button, it will also immediately start shooting. You left, you were from the party. Here you have the option to enable and select which marker will be used to highlight your opponent. When detected by the neural network, you can select a box outlining your opponent with a rectangle and their head with a square. Or you can enable arrows, then a red arrow will hover above your opponent. Yes, just like in The Sims. Well, if there are 2 opponents in view, the primary one will be highlighted in red and the one that will be targeted after killing the first one will be orange. We'll discuss this parameter in more detail when we review the processed Ural Azar. Enable the confidence feature to see how confidently the neural network recognizes your opponent and what kind of IT specialist they are. This opponent is labeled as an IT specialist because the neural network can remember opponents. Watermark on. Just turn it off. Info. The main thing here is of course FPS, which is displayed in the upper left corner along with delays, and this is the FPS of the neural network, not the game. And if we enable the tab feature, then in the game, when holding down the tab key on your keyboard, you'll be able to see detailed data about your account name as well as some FPS memory settings. In simple terms again, this parameter is needed to stabilize the data that is displayed in the upper left corner of your screen. Hide. This parameter completely hides all visuals from view, and additionally, if you enable it, it will also hide any errors that may occur. The SAVEMOD Hide Plus tab feature provides the ability to hide it from the taskbar, and logically it will not be visible when you are switching windows using the Alt Plus tab shortcut. OBS past this parameter completely reveals the menu and visuals for recordings, screenshots, screen sharing, and so on. That is, all this will be on your screen, but in the recording or for your friend in Discord, neither the menu nor the visuals will be visible. The original Russian text seems incorrect or a typo. A correct phrase for always on top could be "Всегда наверху." This parameter is needed so that it doesn't fly away behind the game or other windows, for example browser or Discord, possibly not URL. Here you can select the neural network model. There are 3 of them. Nano is the lightest, Light is balanced, and Pro is the heaviest and most accurate. They differ in the load on your PC, as you can tell. Understand and accurately define the confidence of opponents, as if you can choose the confidence level of the neural network. The optimal parameter for most games is 35 to 40%, but if you want to change it, keep in mind the potential effects. If you set it too low, it will detect opponents at a fairly large distance, but false detections may appear on objects that at least slightly resemble an opponent. If you set it too high, the detection range will be significantly reduced, and even an opponent who is in relative proximity will not be detected very well. Therefore, you need to find a balance and choose a value for your game and screen resolution. VOVA is a cotton lesson in visuals, represented by a white cloud-like circle. This is the neural network's visibility area. It is worth mentioning that the larger the FOV you set, the more load will be on your computer, as the neural network will have to process more information, and there is an aimbot visual. It is marked with a red circle that is constantly present on the screen, and this is the activation area. This particular setting also largely depends on the type of game you are playing and your screen resolution. Well, let's not go far. ASR Dynamic FOV is a setting that makes it so that when the neural network recognizes opponents in the center of the screen, where the FOV is standardly located, the neural network starts moving towards them. You could say it creates the illusion that the focus is worth more. Double check, double verification is needed to reduce the number of false detections as well as detections of inactive objects. Pixel smoothing is needed to eliminate unpleasant microshakes. Let's imagine you have set the sensitivity. It suits you, you like how it aims, but when the crosshair is already on the opponent, it starts to shake. To avoid this, you can increase the pixel parameter and the crosshair will be static. If initially it aims to the left of the opponent, then in the X section we can enter the number 15 and aim. It will be 15 pixels to the right. If the crosshair is, on the contrary, slightly to the right, then accordingly we enter -15 and it will aim 15 pixels to the left. The same applies to the y-axis, meaning the script works vertically. Here you can add ready-made scripts by entering their name and clicking the add button, as well as read the documentation and write your own script. You can even write them using ChatGPT. And below there is a section where you can run the script, stop it, delete it. Or if you created it, you can share it, and slightly to the right is the list of scripts added to the profile. Here you don't need to insist on anything anymore. Here you can simply see your account data, namely name, role, ID, how much subscription time you have left, and when you registered. To the right, you can see the monument. These are the benchmark results from the program's first launch. It shows how many points your system scored, as well as how suitable it is on a 10-point scale for the activation case. If you purchased a key for yourself or a friend, you simply paste it into the corresponding line and press the use button, or this is just a small reminder that you can link your account to your Telegram account through a special bot. There you can track your account statistics on it, reset the benchmark, and participate in duels with other users on it for subscription days in our chat, and with the same users, compare who has a more powerful computer and who has more subscription days. As our priority is a priority, it's better to leave it at the default setting, which is a high refresh rate. If your system is not very powerful and your FPS is low, then first, check how many frames per second FPS you are getting in the game. Once you have that number, choose the level from the list below that is closest to your frames per second count. For example, if you are getting 40 frames per second in the game, you should select level 5. This will make the aiming smooth even with low FPS. Configs here you can create and quickly switch between configs, as well as directly change their names. Screen size is a rather important parameter, as many people like to set custom resolutions. But for example, stretched 4:3. If you have such a custom resolution in your game, then you need to enable the screen size parameter and then enter the overall resolution from your game below. And that's it, not much pigment. Here you can choose the method of mouse emulation, which differ accordingly in terms of security. Default is the most compatible, but at the same time the oldest and less secure. VADI is the safest in the program, suitable for almost all games. Box is a separate device that connects to the computer, and it is more secure than what you are used to, but less secure than a Mac. This is a new supported device that will provide you with safe gameplay in 99.9% of games. You can order with fast delivery across Russia and CS countries also through our Telegram channel via the link in the description. Write, clarify and order screen capture. And here are the settings for subscription level 3. Subscription level 3 is considered a basic option, which means you play on a clean computer that has nothing installed on it. Additionally, it is set up for you on a second computer as well. And this is exactly what the binds method catcher is responsible for configuring at level 3. This is the most secure bypass method that bypasses absolutely all anti-cheats, even in the long term. If you want to know more, again, welcome to our Telegram channel. All contacts are there, you can reach out and clarify, don't be shy. York C, but here we have just basic data about your computer, specifically the graphics card, processor and monitor. And at the very bottom we have info. Here you can see which version of the program you have when the last update was released, and how many seconds it took to launch the last time. That's basically everything. Thank you for your attention. If you didn't understand something or want to learn more, contact us and we'll answer all your questions. Again, don't be shy, we'll be waiting for you. Thank you again for your attention and have a good day.